We will record to the cloud. Good day, Toastmaster and guest. I am your sergeant at arms, Marie Cousin, for the meeting on your Zoom master. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has their virtual hand raised, so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day will lead our meeting. Kenneth Kajjora. Kenneth Kajjora is a professional teacher from Uganda, East Africa, who has facilitated all level learners. Been a Toastmaster for a few years and served a number of club positions, which accentuate him to where he is. He believes in connecting with people and modeling the way as a self-directed leader. Please join me to welcome Kenneth Kajjora.
Thank you, Mercy, our Zoom Master Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, global leaders of Leadership Speak, visiting Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. A very warm welcome once again to Leadership Speak 56 meeting. I am excited to be the Toastmaster of the day. This is the place where self-directed leaders are made and flourish. Our theme today is Leaders Model the Way. It was inspired by the way we practice and do things in life as leaders. There are moments in life when we walk the talk and do not practice what we preach. This got me thinking about leaders modeling the way. As a leader, what does it mean to model the way? Please type it in the chat. Kindly type it in the chat. What does it mean to model the way? You never know. This will preempt why the self-leadership. To model the way, leaders go first and lead by example. They don't ask others to do what they are not ready to do. Create standards of excellence and set an example for others to follow, just like leaders at the Leadership Speak. They model the way to exemplify what they stand for in the pursuit of their extraordinariness as self-directed leaders throughout working as a team. Therefore, Toastmasters is not a one-man show because we encourage teamwork. I have a great team of self-directed leaders who will work with me to model the way and make this meeting extraordinary. To start with, I will call upon our role player and is a mother of 2 kids and grandkids. She joined the Leadership Speak in February. That is Toastmaster Vivian Robinson, who will raise the toast and show us the way. Over to you, Toastmaster Vivian.
Thank you so much. Good day to everyone. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, when you make a commitment, you create hope. When you keep a commitment, you create trust. And this is a quote by John Maxwell. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, please unmute and join me in recognizing the members of Leadership Speaks for our commitment to excellence by preparing, attending, and participating in meetings each and every Saturday for 56 meetings. I raise a toast to the members of Leadership Speaks for their continued commitment to excellence.
Commitment to excellence.
Commitment to excellence.
To excellence.
Okay.
Thank you, fellow
Commitment to
Toastmasters and guests, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Kenneth.
Thank you, Vivian. Next, I'll request to call upon the grammarian, who is result-oriented profession with qualitative experience of 14 years in sales. Join me to welcome Toastmaster Asuni Aronika to introduce her role and the word of the day. Over to you, Asuni.
Thanks, Kenneth. Dear Toastmasters and guests, a grammarian, and it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listen carefully to their language usage. I will take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And today's word of the day, you can see, which has been placed at my background, apotheosis, which means best example of the sort, deification, highest point of power or glory. So just to give an example, I have also pasted the example in the background. Finally, I had apotheosis of being able to walk arm in arm down the Senate of aisle with Senator Diwar, who has promised to explain to me the mysteries of curling, even though I do not have any hair. So I would encourage all our speakers to use this word, apotheosis. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Kenneth.
Thank you, our grammarian. We cannot model the way without managing time. To exhibit this is our timer, Toastmaster Muhammad Azimuddin. Please explain your role.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I am the timer today. And someone said, time is money. So you need to use your budget and be within that budget. So I have your budget for the first leadership speech. Your budget is 18 to 22 minutes. So at 18 minutes, I will give you the green signal. You can see on the screen. And at 20 minutes, yellow, and 22 minutes, the red one. And then the first prepared speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. Similarly, at 5 minutes, green signal, 6 minutes, yellow, and 7 minutes, red signal. So please be within the budget. The second speaker is again 18 to 22 minutes. At 18 minutes, I will give the green signal, 20 minutes yellow, and 22 minutes red signal. And the rest of the speakers is 5 to 7 minutes as well. And then the evaluators, you have also your budget sanctioned 2 to 3 minutes. So be within the time. 2 minutes green signal, 2 minutes and 30 seconds yellow, and 3 minutes red. Over to Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muhammad. Indeed, we cannot model the way without managing time. And I encourage all speakers to manage time. We will now get to the next segment of prepared speeches to listen to 4 speakers who will inspire and educate us on how to model the way as global leaders. There were 5 speakers, though one of them was not feeling well. That is Nikita, and requested an apology. So we shall have 4 speakers, including the education speaker. Our first speaker is an education speaker who has been on his journey for the past 8 years. During his time as a Toastmaster, has found a platform, position, and power to share his voice. He believes our voices live longer after we are gone. And to welcome Toastmaster Sudarshan will be evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Rosie Rana. Rosie, kindly introduce Sudarshan's project, objective, and time of the speech. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Sudarshan is delivering a speech from level 4 of strategic relationships. This project is about speaking professionally, and therefore for this particular project, his purpose is to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Being the educational speaker, he will also share with us some educational information. He's supposed to use the engaging keynote type speech. It can be humorous, informational, or any other type he chooses. He must demonstrate excellent presentation skills and develop and deliver compelling content. It will not be a report on preparing to speak professionally. The title of his speech is Finding Your Voice. Finding Your Voice, Sudarshan Seshadri.
Mr. Toastmaster, can I start? Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, are you set?
I'm good.
Sudarshan, finding your voice. Finding your voice, Sudarshan.
Before I begin, I must share a disclaimer. I'm down with flu. So if in the process of talking about my voice, I lose my voice, pardon me for that. I shall take a sip of water and try to continue. That said, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and more importantly, self-directed leaders, we are what the sum of our words are. And the sum of our words are the voice bits that we choose to put out every time we connect with people. Because as humans, we've been endowed with this ability to convey our thoughts through our words using that one of the 5 senses that we are born with, which is our voice. So over the next few minutes, I will try and talk about what is finding your voice, how does one find your voice, and first of all, what does voice in fact stand for? So let's look at this image. I'm sure a lot of you know what this is. This is a janitor who is cleaning up what seems to be an industrial setup. Well, why is he doing that? Does any of you know the gentleman in the image? I'm sure you do. If a few of you choose to put it in chat, would be great. There is a reason why I have put up these 2 images. I'm not sure how many of you know the story. Circa 1964, 65, 66 maybe, the US of A decided to put a man on the moon. And obviously the task was given to NASA to ensure that their astronauts land on the moon. And in the process of getting to that point, there is a story which goes something like this. President John F. Kennedy visited the NASA facilities and found a janitor mopping away furiously. And his curiosity got the better of him. He went up to the janitor and asked a question. "Pray, what are you doing here?" The man, without missing a beat, without stopping to mop, looks up and says, "Mr. President, I'm putting a man on the moon." And that is a reason why I share this anecdote. We as leaders are seldom doing things alone. Because to be called a leader is to enable a bunch of people to dream bigger, to achieve much bigger than what they actually thought they could. And therefore, the voice of President Kennedy and his conviction to say that I want to put a man on the moon led that janitor to believe he was also contributing to that worthy cause. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this and this alone is what your voice stands for. As a leader, when you speak, you connect, you convey, you communicate, you encourage, you envisage, and you envision. When you put all of these things together and shake it all up, the milkshake that gets created is something to be beholded, something that everyone cherishes, and a true leader is one that makes it a reality. Therefore, as a leader, if you have to find your own voice, let's first look at what does voice in itself stand for. In my opinion, voice stands for these 5 vowels and consonants that I've chosen. V stands for values. O stands for the outcomes. I for the integrity. C for courage. And E for evidence. And we shall see what each of that means. However, at this stage, what I want to stress upon is voice is a accumulation of everything that we choose to communicate. Voice does not just stand for the spoken voice or the sounds that come out of us. Voice comes out of us in every communication platform and every communication format that we choose to put our thoughts out. The apotheosis of our voice is when the recipient is able to absorb, imbibe, and enact our commandments to the best effect possible. And therefore, when we look at voice, we do not look at voice just as something which is a soundbite which people listen to, but everything that we do. To give you an example, just take our own club. In our club leader, DTM Brown, communicates with us in multiple formats. Whether it could be his visage on the Zoom screen, whether it could be his pronouncements on our WhatsApp chats, whether it is his exhortations to us to do certain things, all of it forms a vision and a voice which enables us to relate to leadership speak as the premier platform for self-directed leaders. And that is the voice that he chooses to communicate with. You and I, as Toastmasters and as leaders in our day-to-day jobs, we do exactly the same. To give you an example, once upon a time, a boss of mine once told me, Sudarshan, if you choose to come to work wearing a green shirt, a blue tie, a pink trouser, and a yellow hat, and then if you think people think of you as a clown, who's to blame? Because that is the voice that I chose to project. What I'm trying to communicate is your voice is what you wear, what you do, when do you do it, how do you do it, and above all, how do you communicate what you're trying to do? And therefore, it is imperative that we look at each of these attributes of voice and ensure that we embrace all of it in such a way that our voice is consistent, concurrent, and cogent at all points in time. So let's look at what do values stand for. Values basically stand for who are you? What are you standing for? If you, the individual who chooses to be a leader, and remember, leadership is not a position. Leadership is actually a state of mind. You do not need a title. You do not need a designation. You do not even need to be anointed by someone to be a leader. A leader is someone that chooses to lead. And when you choose to lead, first and foremost, what do you stand for? When I look up at you as a leader, what is the image that you're conveying? What is the standard that you convey? What is the pennant that you carry? What is the flag that you wave? That is what your values communicate to me. Next up, what is your conviction? Yes, you stand for something, but are you convinced? Nelson Mandela stood for equality of man in all eternity to come. And his conviction was that people do evil without meaning to, and which is why he was able to pardon all his oppressors, and that was his conviction. Above all, his motivation was to ensure that his nation truly becomes a rainbow nation. And that is what he stood for. As leaders, we need to, ought to, and always must ask these questions of ourselves. What do we stand for? How convinced are we that what we stand for is the right thing to stand for? And how motivated are you? Because it is just our values that give currency to our voice. Because if you project the values that you stand for, your followers will look at you and believe you for what you are. And therefore, values are the most important thing in all of what you do to ensure that your followers stand by you. Now that you've got the values right, a leader is always, in my opinion, a storyteller. And why do I say that? Because a leader is someone who is promising you to take you to a better tomorrow, a better place, a better outcome, a better result. And that could be anything in your personal, professional, spiritual, social life, and every other aspect of life if you have those. And therefore, it is imperative for a leader to communicate what is this tomorrow going to look like. At Leadership Speak, we have seen the example once again. When DTM Brahm put it out saying, by the end of 2023, what would be the difference in you, the leader, and how would you like to be a quantum leader if you can be? But why is that tomorrow relevant? Why is it so important for us to look at? And that is what a leader communicates. What is the tomorrow? Why is that tomorrow relevant? And above all, as a leader, what are you willing to stake to get to that tomorrow? Because talk is cheap, actions speak louder. And when you are willing to put your hat in the ring or put your money where your mouth is, that's when your credibility rises up. And that's when your voice becomes a stable, relevant, hearable voice. Therefore, a better tomorrow is a great promise. And that great promise is hinging on the fact that you, the leader, are willing to give it your all to get us all to that particular place. From the mount, when the tablet came down and the oceans parted, that's when a better tomorrow was revealed. And that will always get revealed if the leader chooses to walk first, walk fast, and walk confidently. And therefore, a better tomorrow comes only when you are willing to put it to test to the best of your abilities. Of course, you're ready to do all of this, but this I is at the forefront. The I in the leader is what is going to propel the dream to its fruition. But before the I becomes relevant to me and you and all of us, the first question a leader needs to answer is, why should I believe in you? What is it in you that makes me believe that you are the one to take me to that tomorrow? And therefore, a leader needs to display that level of commitment and conviction in his opinions to ensure that he or she is the right leader to take us there. And of course, what is the importance of all of this? We've been talking about finding our voice and ensuring that a leader models the way to get to where we want to. But ultimately, it needs to be important enough for us to forsake everything else to walk this path. And therefore, it is important for the leader to display that integrity in communicating the importance of what the goal is. Most importantly, why is the leader willing to stake? In the previous slide, we saw what the leader is willing to stake, but why is the leader willing to stake this? And that why is important to answer, because there are leaders and then there are leaders and then there are some more leaders. Some of them put things to stake because they are gamblers by nature. And that's not a leader with whom people stand. People stand with leaders that are genuine, believable, and honest to their task. But more importantly, they have skin in the game. Walking the talk, therefore, leads to clarity from your followers and therefore builds on your integrity and embellishes your voice with the timbre that is required for people to believe in your voice. Of course, if all of that is taken into account, but if the leader is not willing to fight the good fight, all the rest of it falls flat. Is the leader willing to stand and fight, stand his ground with his conviction, with his commitment, and fight till the last drop of blood, physically, figuratively, and literally? That is when the leader's credibility shines through. And in the event that the leader's conviction is thought to be foolhardy, is the leader strong enough to walk alone? The example of that kind of a leader that I would like to share is that of Nikola Tesla. When Nikola Tesla went around the world talking about alternating current, when the world was talking only about direct current, he was thought of as a lunatic, as a maverick, as someone who's not to be heeded to. But he stood alone. He went around from exhibition to exhibition demonstrating his inventions, eventually found a buyer and got it to where it is. And today we all are thankful to him. And that is what courage looks like. Sometimes you need to walk alone. Our Toastmaster of the day also talked about a leader that walks long and walks fast. What does walk long mean? The better tomorrow sometimes is a mirage, which appears many a number of times before the final destination shows up. And therefore, is the leader willing to take the time and effort that it takes to get to where he wants to? And this is something that will become a part of your voice, because you will need to keep convincing your followers to keep following till we reach the goal. And till the goal is not reached, the goal is not reached. And therefore, I like to summarize this slide by saying leadership is all about intrepidity. The more intrepid the leader, the stronger the conviction of his followers to keep following. And that we've seen in time and time again in leader after leader. Finally, the E, which is the evidence. What do you have to show for it? First and foremost, when a leader puts through a proposal, what does the leader have to show for it? The second evidence is, how will the journey look like? Do we need to walk over a bed of coals? Do we need to walk over thorns? Will the oceans part for us? What is the journey going to look like? How will we get there? And what shape will we get there? And of course, as every parent knows, kids on the back seat of the car will always ask you this question: are we there yet? And this "are we there yet" is a question that every follower has in his or her mind. And therefore, the leader's voice needs to be clear, crystal clear, to say that we will get there when we get there. But my promise is, we will surely get there. And to that extent, a leader's imperative is to always ensure that the length of the rainbow can keep going longer and longer, but the journey keeps remaining interesting. And when you take all of these things together to create your voice, the leader's voice shines through in every aspect of the leader's being. A simple nod of the head, a wave of the hand, a gesture of intrepidity, all of it will show to the followers that this leader has a voice, and that's a voice that I would like to listen to and I would like to follow with. And that is when a leader's purpose gets achieved. The person that is on the screen has a voice, and that voice resonates with all of us even to this date. We have 5 senses as humans. We are born with these 5 senses. But guess what? There is one sense which is born even before we are born, and that is the sense of hearing. And the sense of hearing is directly connected to voice. And that is why it is postulated that men may come and men may go, but their voices live on forever. As leaders, one of the big responsibilities that we carry is that our voices are our legacy, and our voices shall live on. This man on the screen had a dream, and the dream continues. You and I, as self-directed leaders, have a legacy to leave behind. Whether we choose or not, in today's day and age, this meeting itself is recorded, and you and I, leaders, are leaving behind a voice print for eternity to come. And therefore, it's imperative that you find your voice and you share your voice loudly and clearly with courage, conviction, evidence, integrity, and above all, the values that you choose to display to the wide world. This and this alone, fellow leaders, will determine your voice and its power to communicate, connect, collaborate, and create. So here is to communicating, collaborating, and creating wonders at Leadership Speak and beyond. Thank you for having me as your educational speaker. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Sudarshan, for such an insightful message. Indeed, as you had said, to connect with people, you must have the values, the outcome, the integrity, courage, and the evidence. What do you show? What are people learning from you? Thank you so much, Sudarshan. Our next speaker is a good mother, a former scientist, edupreneur, and passionate educator who has trained students and learners in soft skills and teaching methodologies. This is Dr. Seshadri Rajan. To evaluate is distinguished Toastmaster Bram. Bram, tell us the project objective and the time of the speech of Seshadri. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests as well, and brand new members who just joined us today. Seshadri Rajan, well, what can I say? She's my protege, and she's going to be speaking about mentorship. She's speaking about mentorship from presentation mastery. This is a level 2 speech and a third speech in that level. She's presenting a speech about a time that she was a protege and sharing the importance of having a mentor. Our timing, of course, Mr. Toastmaster, is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Seshadri Rajan, mentorship to reverse mentorship, my magical journey. Mentorship to reverse mentorship, my magical journey, Seshadri Rajan. Over to you.
How many of you believe in fantasies? The realms of fantasy may seem unreal or fogs with impossibilities and improbable things, but I believe that they very much relate to our lives. So let me share one such story with all of you today. 20 years back, when I joined the university to follow my dreams, I never knew that the journey is going to transform me. Like the fairy godmother who transformed Cinderella, I too got someone who not only gave me a vision for my life, but also navigated a course to my destination. A mentor can transform you into a better version of yourself. And it did happen to me. Along with the lessons of my course, she taught me some valuable lessons of life. The day when I presented my first research paper on the international stage, the day when I applied for the postdoctoral fellowship, the day when I was the only girl to enter into students' politics in the entire university, I had someone with me who pushed me at every point and gave me that courage and had faith in me and told me that yes, you can. And I believed that yes, I can. Today, if I believe in myself, if I am bold enough to stand with ethics and integrity, it's all because of my first mentor, my guide, my teacher, and my fairy godmother, Dr. Upma Bugai. By now, if all of you are wondering that the Cinderella also got her Prince Charming in the story, so did I got my Prince Charming? Then let me tell you, my dear friends, yes, I too got a loving, caring, and supportive prince, my husband. My secret mentor. There were times when I failed, I fell down, and I was fragmented. But he gave me that courage and hope that I can overcome any challenge in my life. When after repeated attempts, I could not achieve a job, people used to accuse me. Oh, poor girl. With so many degrees, she's sitting at home. Don't know what is the problem. With all those, I started having doubt on myself, on my own abilities. Am I not capable? But I was depressed and devastated. My husband told me, it's okay. It's okay to fail. Ignore the brickbats and heed your strength. Friends, and today I'm here standing as an edupreneur with my startup, Success E-Learning. As Oprah Winfrey said, that a mentor is someone who allows to see hope inside you. He showed me that light in me and made me an optimistic person who can fight her own battles. Dear Toastmasters, don't you think that he's my secret mentor? It's true that having a good mentor in your life can mean a lot of difference. And I am fortunate enough to get not one, but many mentors in my life. In Toastmasters also, I got mentors like Distinguished Toastmaster Manju and Distinguished Toastmaster Brown, who enabled me to grow as a better communicator and an able leader. My mentors always shared their wisdom and experiences with me and guided me whenever I felt stuck. They always kindled my ideas and inspired me to choose my thoughts wisely. Not only listened to me, but valued my views and motivated me to move ahead boldly. They incited me to emerge as a strong leader and strengthened my belief on the core values of Toastmasters: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. The most important lesson which I learned from both of them is selfless service. Share your learnings and lessons not for recognition, but to empower others. And I am so delighted to share that today, that I am sharing those learnings with my mentees. I am a mentor to many proteges. True mentorship is like a true friendship. It's not one-way street. Both learn together by giving and sharing. And the beauty of mentoring is that it establishes and nurtures mutually beneficial relationship. When one teaches, two learn. This is reverse mentoring. I could get fresh perspectives, innovative ideas, and most importantly, friends who can support me at every step of mine. My proteges have given me many opportunities to become a good listener, a passionate speaker, an altruistic leader, and a person who can empathize with others. I could realize that a mentor can be anyone. A teacher who takes your hand and opens the door for you to the world of wisdom, or your family who secretly transforms you into a better human being, or your mentors and even your mentees who revitalize and refresh you with new perspectives. That's my magical journey from mentorship to reverse mentorship. Though I already have these mentors in my life, I'm still ready to learn and grow more together with new mentors. Toastmaster of the day. If Snow White could have 7 dwarfs as mentors, then why can't I? Isn't it? Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Aswathi. I can imagine as a doctor, but willing to learn the selfless service. Thank you, Aswathi. Next, we have Banashiri Banerjee as our next speaker. She will be giving us an icebreaker speech, and to be evaluated is distinguished Toastmaster Manju. Manju, kindly tell us the project objectives and the time of the speech. Over to you, Manju.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. So today, Banishri is attempting icebreaker speech. So in this particular speech, she would be attempting to tell a story with a good opening, body, and conclusion. I wish her all the best. And the timing, I would request the TMOD to please assist me with the title of the speech. Because of some technical issue, I'm not able to, my laptop has crashed, I'm not able to open the agenda.
It's the compass.
The compass.
Yes.
The compass.
Yes. Banishri, the compass, Banishri.
Banashiri, the compass, Banashiri. Over to you.
Thank you. Have you ever felt lost, unsure of where you are headed in life? If so, you're not alone. Many people struggle to find their way, but there is a tool available to everyone that can help. Your passion, your inner compass. Good day, leaders, Toastmasters, and our dashing guests. Growing up, I was extremely passionate about playing badminton with my father. I was hooked onto the sport from the first time I held a racket. My father made me practice every day, pushed me harder, and it was his passion and hard work that I became a badminton player and secured a position in the state team for Indian national tournament for children under age 12. And there onward, amongst the 10 best players in the country before I was even 15 years old. From that day till now, it's going on. Be it rain, wind, sun, or any fury of nature, I have been playing badminton for years now. Time spent with badminton has actually taught me a few lessons in life. Keep going, stay focused, and your goal, or stay focused to your goal, and anyone can win the cliffs and rapids of life. This paved the path to the next phase of my life, where I needed to focus on my future career and realized that every step of my decisions was actually taking me one step away from my passion. So I selected a college which was not only the best, had a good faculty and a history of excellence of my chosen field, but also had a badminton court. And thereafter, when I looked for an organization to work after my graduation, out of the 3 options I had, I chose that company that had a history of participating in corporate badminton tournaments. Born in Kolkata, a place fanatic about food, fights, festivals, and football, I got attracted to an investment banker from the opposite corner of India, Kerala with different taste of food, fun, and festival. But who used to come and cheer for me and follow me everywhere I played badminton? You see the magic? It's not the compass, rather the magnetized field, magnetized needle, which did the magic. Few years back, I resigned from a demanding job when I was leading offshore projects in a mortgage department of a financial institution in the USA. I was enjoying the time, soaking up on the different cultures while developing my ability to break down problems and work with teams to reach corporate goals and targets. Suddenly, the goal and the goalpost both changed. We were blessed with God's two of the best creations in the world. So basically, from a 10-hour success stressful job, I shifted to a 22-hour stretched job at home. And I must admit that I'm proud of my decision taken 10 years back, as today they have evolved into two beautiful, strong individuals with kindness and empathy in their hearts. By the way, did I make it sound that they're little angels of God? Not at all. They're live wires. They have contributed in keeping me fit, alert, on my toes, without even touching a treadmill. So, you have to appreciate, and whenever we appreciate each other, we play football, we play Monopoly and badminton. So, right now, what I have thought is, with the passion of banking and badminton, I wanted to do and give back to the society. I embarked on a new field, and it is my own creation, which I have named as I Can, where I am helping people and families who have children of special needs in their families by giving them opportunities to travel, to have therapies at home at a very cheaper price. And that is right now my passion. But in the future, I want to give them a badminton court too. So I invite all of you and ask you one question. What is your passion? Can you integrate your passion into your life the way you would allow the other people to find their own destinations? It may not be easy, but I promise it is worth it. I found my compass. Have you? Over to you.
Thank you, Manashiri. What a way to model your way. What a wonderful icebreaker speech. Now know who you are, and this is exemplified with the good morals that will reflect a good picture of a great, great leader. Thank you so much. Next, we shall have our last speaker, and that is Muhammad Asif Said, who leads with example and always goes first as a leader. To be evaluated is distinguished Fabiola Clover. Fabiola, please tell us Asif's project objectives and the time of the speech.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting. Today, Distinguished Toastmaster Mohammed Asif is doing Motivational Strategy Spot, and the project of today is level 3, Inspire Your Audience. This project in the spot focuses on learning strategies for building connections with people around you, understanding motivation, and successfully leading small groups. So for this particular speech, today I will be looking for the content that engages the audience, and if the speaker is aware of the audience's response, and especially if he appears to be interacting with the audience. The time is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Fabiola. Muhammad Asif, leading with gratitude. Leading with gratitude, Muhammad Asif.
Dear leaders, a leadership speak. Let me begin my speech today with one question. What is the secret ingredient of being a successful leader? Is it confidence, persuasive communication, resilience, influence, gratitude? If you look at your chat and you can put into the chat, which is that skill set which you think is the most important secret ingredient of success, being a successful leader. If you could put in next 20 seconds, let's go through our responses from all our leaders, their thought processes. What do you think? Wouldn't it be great, interesting to participate? Can we expect a few of your thoughts, amazing thoughts, onto the chat? Are we able to see? Oh, people are yet not reacting. Well, what I'm asking, my dear audience, is your thoughts, which is the secret ingredient? And if you could chat, if you could type into your chat, then that would be great. Is it possible? Taking initiative, Ray, attention, great. Thank you, Brahm. Oh, the time is going on. Still people are thinking, yeah, it could be a secret. Yeah, because secret is secret, right? You don't want to tell people what is the secret. Learning ability and initiative, fabulous. Is great, being transparent. Honest, yes. Integrity. Wow. Well, I did mention about, you know what, gratitude. But that normally doesn't appear into the vocabulary of leaders. The reason behind, thank you so much for your, the messages are continuously coming and popping up. Keep it going up. But what's the more important today, my dear leaders, is gratitude. Gratitude is just like that salt. If you don't have it in your dish, then you feel that, yeah, there's something missing. Correct? So there are so many ingredients which are necessary to become a great leader. But something that missing factor is the gratitude. If it's not there, you can sense it. And when does you can sense it? Would be, with persuasion, with confidence, with your coaching capabilities, you can motivate people 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But essentially, people are looking for what? Recognition, right? They go out of the way. Look at our events. People go out of the way, they put in so much efforts, right? And then we have a successful event. So one event after second to third event, fourth event, maybe you are working at district level, division level, area level, at your organization. So many places you might be working, and you're working with teams, correct? And these are the teams who are giving back you the efforts. And as a result, collectively, you channelize their efforts and you get success. If these people are not recognized, then what would happen? He will say, anyway, nobody's going to bother, right? Who am I? A small guy. Oh, come on, let it go. And then the lethargy steps in and everybody starts bringing the attitude. Who bothers, man? Let it go. And what happens then? Your successful events start going down. And then you start facing failure. Because the leader forgot that to mention to their tribe that he or she is so grateful for their efforts. And successful or the great leaders are those people who continuously express their gratefulness to their tribe, to the people whom they are leading. And then the tribe wants to be connected with this leader. We feel part of being that amazing social group. And that's where they go on contributing more and more and more, isn't it? So that's the secret ingredient, my dear leaders, is gratitude. One more important thing is about gratitude is, gratitude is not only just towards your own tribe, but it's also gratitude for your own self, feeling thankful, blissful, feeling that environment of abundance. Hey, Marisa Pierre, one of the great well-being coach, mentions that there are so many people who comes to her as a client from the big successful people. They are feeling a sense of scarcity. They are feeling lost. They are feeling depression. Why? What is the major reason? The reason is going one success after another success after another success. 1 million, 10 million, billion. What are they chasing? Because once you're chasing success and more success without having a gratitude, you will feel always a sense of sorrowness, which then results into depression. Instead, if you convert every small victory into being grateful, thankful, blissful, then you reach into an environment of abundance. And when you are in an environment of abundance, you start giving out more energy to all your tribe and people whom you are leading. You are able to serve more. They are able to lead them with more energy to a more success. So isn't it necessary to win and also be happy rather than being unthankful and be sorrow? We really want to be happy, and that's the most important reason in our life, right? So let's express thankfulness today in being part of this tribe. My thankfulness to all my fellow Toastmasters who joined the meeting, who play their several roles, whether timer, whether grammarian, or just being a fabulous audience. And that's how we show our gratitude continuously in the meeting, before the meeting, after the meeting. Let's continue this journey of abundance by leading with gratitude. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you so much, Muhammad Asif. We shall also be grateful to you. Thank you for always walking the talk. And this also encourages us to always set a personal example of what others expect from us. Thank you, Muhammad. At this moment, I will now call upon the timer. Please present your report for the prepared speech segment as the Zoom master prepares to launch calls to take place. You are muted.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Today, I was the timer, and after a long time, I did this role. So I try to make it in a different way. So I welcome and appreciate all the project managers who utilize their budget of timing within their limited budget sanctioned for them. So the first is project manager was the leadership speed, and Sudarshan Seshadri, and he was sanctioned a budget of 22 minutes, but he took only 18 minutes and 38 seconds. Congratulations. Speaker one, Aswanti Rajan. She was given a budget of 7 minutes with a compassionate budget of 30 seconds. She took 7 minutes and 23 seconds. Congratulations. Speaker two, Banasri Banerjee. And her speech, her project was the icebreaker speech, and it was normally 4 to 6 minutes. And she took 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Congratulations once again. And speaker three, Muhammad Asif Sayyad, he was so emotional that he little bit extended his budget, but it was a wonderful speech, a wonderful project from Muhammad Asif, and he utilized 8 minutes and 1 second. Over to Master of the Day.
Thank you, our timer. I can see the Zoom master has shared the polls. Please vote for the best speaker. Vote for the best speaker. You can use this in 2 minutes. Timer, you will alert us when the 2 minutes are over. Okay. Are the 2 minutes over, Muhammad?
Keep going. It's too long to wait.
Okay. In the next segment, we're going to have a healthy break of 2 minutes to take a glass of water, as well as stretch ourselves. Kindly stretch yourself, take a glass of water, and we shall be back to proceed. Thank you. Muhammad,
Yes,
are
I'm.
the 2 minutes over?
Yeah, 2 minutes is over.
Marie, you can reconvene the meeting.
Yes, break will end in 1 minute or now? Just one now?
2 minutes, 23 seconds is over.
So back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, thank you so much, Marie. Now we get to another segment, and this is a wonderful segment of table topics session, where everyone stretches his speaking power through impromptu speaking. I will now call upon the table topics master, and that is Mariana Baca, to come and take us through that segment. Over to you, Marianne.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the day, and welcome everyone. And yes, table topic is an opportunity for impromptu speaking within limits. That limit is Mr. Timer, 1 to 2 minutes, 1 minute at green light, 1:30 yellow, and 2 minutes red. And with that, I would like to call our first table topic speaker, Ray Rivero. Are you ready, Ray?
I am right here, Mariana. Thank you for putting me on the impromptu spot.
So your question, what are your daily activities that helps you to be a better leader? What are your daily activities that helps you to be a better leader?
Fellow Leadership Speak members and guests, the first thing that I have to do in order for me to be a better, more focused leader is a strong cup of coffee. I find myself sometimes trying to figure out what needs to be done. Sometimes I'm figured that I have to do everything at once. I don't. I just have to do one thing at a time and remember not to do all things at once. That's why after the caffeine goes into here, it goes up here, and then I can start thinking about how to plan what needs to be done. I try to prioritize what's more important, what's next to important, but I also have to remember to take the time to have a little bit of fun and a little bit of recharge. It could be with a simple exercise, though lately that simple exercise has turned out to be walking the dog for an hour, but that's another table topic. But that's what I do as a leader to help get myself ready for the challenges of the day. Over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Ray, for sharing your secret. Now, I would like to ask one of our guests, Yvonne, are you here? Yvonne Roderick? All right, Yvonne Kodrig. No. Then how about Baron Arkula? Baron?
Yes, I am here. I had a
Are
feeling
you
my name was
at the table topic?
Yes, please.
All right. What did it means to you, model the way as a leader? Model the way. What that means to you as a leader? Baron, are you here?
I think he has a network problem.
All right. Let's pick someone else in the meantime. One of our new members. Oh, are you back? Okay. Can you participate in our table topic?
Okay. I'll move on to the next person.
All
Keep
right.
time.
All right. So one of our new member, Leah Musanga, are you here? Leah? Can I ask everyone to open up your camera so I can see who's here and I don't ask for people who's not present? Leah, are you here? All right. Well, looks like nobody wants this question. Let's try something else. Racic, are you ready for table topics?
Always ready.
Excellent. That's what I like. And I keep you as a professional in leadership, so I have a question for you. Good leaders have to have integrity. What can go wrong if that integrity is not part of a leader's tool?
Well, if, well, as you said, integrity is part of a leader's repertoire. But I believe integrity, I think, is number one on the list. If a leader, my opinion, if the leader does not have integrity, that person is not a leader and not a follower. That person is just not in the equation. As our educational speaker said, you know, we have to establish credibility. We have to be, our skills, our integrity has to be admissible to other people. Or else, why should I listen to you or you should listen to me? Therefore, without integrity, there is no listening or speaking. Why would I bother with a person who has no integrity? For example, who lies, steals, or does not walk the talk, as we've heard many times before. How many speakers do we know that talk is cheap? I've heard earlier. We know a lot, each one of us, we know a lot, which I'm proud to say is one of the reasons why I'm part of this club and you're part of this club. It's because we don't talk, we walk. So integrity is walking the talk. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Tony. Wonderful explanation for everyone to learn. Baron, your hand is up. Are you ready to participate in table topics?
Yes, I am.
All right. So your question, what is the most important personality quality as a leader?
I think the most important personality quality as a leader is teachability. That ability to sit down and say, I need to learn this, so I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to put my pride to the side and be teachable. I find that highlights it for me because just a week ago, I had a 1-week internship to better my graphic skills, my brand management skills, and so many things could have gone wrong. I could have said, I know about this. But what stood out is, even within myself, even before I thought about it, I made myself available and
Okay. Network problem.
You doing, Ashi?
Well, thank you, Baron. Looks like we got disconnected again. So I will go to the next question. And I would like to ask our member.
Mariana?
Yes?
That can be the last question.
All right. So, Nurul, can I ask you to be our next table topic speaker?
Yes, Maria.
Thank you. What it means to you of model the way as a leader?
Yes, topic master and my dear friends of Leader Speaks. Yes, mother's the way. When you become a mother, you have to manage so many things. First is to manage the children. Second is managing the house. Third is managing your husband. And fourth, you're managing your profession. So it's not easy to manage everything at a time, maybe at once at a time. But sometimes you have to do multitasking, especially when you are at work. You have to, sometimes you have to focus on just to see where the children are, whether they have gone to school on time, whether they have left school on time. So when the mothers really take the lead in multitasking, and which is sometimes it's an essential skill for a leader to lead anything in a better way. So I would say the mother in the leadership always focus and more flexible in leadership, and that goes in a long way in the leadership track, maybe in professionally, or maybe at home, or wherever you go and whatever you task, the mothers becomes a more effective and sustainable leaders. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you very much, Nurul. Thank you for sharing your experience, which is very vast, I know. So that with this, we finish table topics. I hope we are able to vote. We had 4 speakers. First, Ray.
We shall not vote, Mariana.
Sorry?
Because of time. We shall not vote because of time.
I'm just summoning up so people can vote.
This is okay, but we shall not vote.
Sorry, you're not okay. All right. So that was it. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mariana. And it reminded me the time when I just joined Toastmasters. My first day joining an online meeting, I was called upon to give a table topic question, to respond to a table topic question. I had to pattern with the meme power card. I disappeared from the meeting immediately. So I know what it means when Mariana starts calling out people and people are quiet, but that is okay. Our timer, can you please present the report?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, once again. And this project of table topic was done by project manager, Mariana Barka. And we had 4 speakers in this project.
That's the difference.
Everyone. Zoom Master, can you arrange this? So 4 speakers spoke in this segment. Everyone were within time. The first speaker, 1 minute 44 seconds. Second speaker, 1 minute 37 seconds. And the third speaker directly joined from the green field, far away from Toronto. And he took 50 seconds. In the meantime, her video is stuck. Speaker 4, 1 minute 47 seconds. And these are the report from timer. Over to Master of the Ceremony.
Thank you, our timer, Muhammad. At this moment, we shall now get to a new segment. And this is the final meeting segment, the evaluation, where we flourish to receive breakfast for the champion. Breakfast for the champions. To invite the general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Sandra Valt, is a compassionate queen of straight talk. Sandra Valt finds it most useful to speak out clear and honestly when asked for an opinion. Don't ask if you really don't want to know. Evaluations have been a huge part of Sandra's growth in her Toastmasters journey, and therefore serve and model that authenticity to others. As the general evaluator today, Sandra hopes to deliver useful feedback to evaluators and the Toastmaster of the day. Join me to welcome Sandra.
Thank you so much. I love evaluations. I love receiving them and giving them. And remember, just have broad shoulders. I'm just going to repeat a line from Kenneth's theme. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Leaders model the way when they walk the talk and when they practice what they preach. I am very pleased to be introducing the evaluators of today. We start off with Rosie Rana evaluating our education speaker, Sudarshan, and helping the speaker achieve his or her goals are the objectives of the project. Value effective evaluations because I get to know how my presentation has been received and most importantly, my shortcomings and the areas I can work on to be more effective. As a result, I too always try to give honest feedback in a manner that I can feel can help the speaker, keep it encouraging, and so they will not deliver a whitewash, and Rosie will not be delivering a whitewash. Rosie?
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. And to our speaker, education speaker, Sudarshan. What a wonderful and informative speech. I took so many lessons from your presentation today. I would say the apotheosis was possibly the exemplary content and the very well structured manner in which you followed the acronym VOICE. I loved how each of the items had few questions and a takeaway. For me, the key nuggets, and not in any order and not following exactly how you delivered them, were that a leader is not a position, it is really a state of mind, that your values give currency to your voice, leaders give us or show us a better tomorrow, they walk the talk, and most importantly, our voice are a legacy. You are clearly a very competent speaker. Your use of English language is beautiful. You use words that are poignant, powerful, and just deliver the message spot on. So what would I feel you could do to improve or to get even better? Well, first and foremost, and here at Leadership particularly, you had a beautiful presentation. I felt it was balanced, the colors, the clarity, they were not glaring, they were really good. However, I wish, a bit like what we see Mariana and Brahm do all the time, I wish it was in the background, because by presenting it in front, it takes away from us being able to see you. I'd really like to see more of you. So maybe do try and learn the tricks of having it in the background. Secondly, and maybe minor, but because at Leadership Speak, we are listening and we are awed and we really want to hear a speaker, but it is said that the first thing you say and that the last thing you say are what you leave your audience with and resonate very strongly with an audience. I was a bit disappointed that the first thing was an apology and a disclaimer, and the last thing was really thanking us for having you as our education speaker. I mean, we should be thanking you. You gave us so much, but that's minor. I feel that the best keynotes, or it is said that the best keynotes are those that motivate the audience, inspiring them around a common theme and connecting logically and emotionally. So you connected with us at a very strong logical level with everything you said. And you used so many illustrations and stories from Mandela, Kennedy, Brahms illustration, your boss, etc. I felt there were many opportunities to impact us and take it at a higher level by connecting emotionally with us. You could have achieved this with the same sort of stories, but perhaps by posing. For example, when you gave us your questions or when you were sharing the questions, what is tomorrow going to look like? Challenge us. As a leader, do you ever wonder what tomorrow is going to look like? How is tomorrow going to be relevant for your followers? What are you doing to make tomorrow relevant for your followers? So make us reflect, and that would connect with us deeper and emotionally. But Sudarshan, I took away so much. Exemplary presentation, and I love listening to you, and I can't wait to learn more and more from you. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. All righty, this is an unusual meeting. We had a couple little things to clean up. And one of them was that Nikita is very sick, throwing up, she says. Ugh. And we hope that she's feeling better, but she had a time slot of 18 to 20 minutes. So very graciously, Kenneth and Mariana, who was the evaluator for the next portion, was able to pull together table topics. But I do want to just I want to back up. I think I'll do the evaluations of the evaluators immediately. And Rosie, I love how you are very thoughtful about when you're giving your evaluation. I can see you thinking your way through about exactly what was wonderful and digging for those nuggets of improvement and leaving them feeling really good when they're finished. The only challenge you have, Rosie, is often your sound. Somehow you're going to either have to speak and project a little louder, or there's something, I turned up my own sound and still had to really listen for it. So your sound is doing something to you, but a beautiful evaluation. Thank you so much. Mariana, I'm going to give you a little evaluation right in here because you were the next one to be speaking. Let me see here. Mariana, as an introduction, says, at the beginning of my Toastmasters journey, I was intimidated by this role. And now I'm welcoming it as a growing opportunity for myself and the speaker. I see this role as a way to share my experience. Well, didn't you get to share some experience today, pulling those table topics out from the magic sky? This was, to me, somebody who is prepared. Yes, you're asked at the last moment to do table topics instead. You've got a little list of them somewhere. You're thinking through and coming up with questions that are relevant to the theme and relevant to the leadership speak aspect. So the questions were wonderful. I think because it was a surprise, this is going to be a little bit for the Toastmaster of the day and the timer, there was a disconnect. If you're replacing a speaker, and Nikita was going to be 18 to 20 minutes, I would suggest, knowing that there's going to be confusion, Toastmaster and Mariana, that you would say, okay, let's not plan on the whole 20 minutes because there's always going to be this juggling of getting people in and out. I would say go with 12 to 15 minutes and have the timer. So here's where even behind the scenes here, you had to have the timer primed up, not to time the table topics particularly. Yes, they need that. But for Mariana to know when the 10 minutes was up and then when the 15 minutes or the 14 minutes, so you were into your last question. So that takes behind the scene juggling, which is quite a trick for the Toastmaster of the day and for anyone called on. Your idea of bringing in, if you're not on video, so I can see you moving, that you're there, I'm not going to call on you. That's what I would do. Before you even start, if your video's not on, not calling on you. Otherwise, I love that you can pop up, do the thing, and work the time together. Thank you. Our next speaker was Manju. Now, Manju has always believed in leading by example. She has certainly done so with her past work within Toastmasters, making a club during COVID, by goodness sakes. And she's always liking to set aside a percentage of her income and time for social service. I like these introductions that give us a chance to know each other a little bit more. That's what I find wonderful. Manju, if you could evaluate Banasri, please. Manju.
Madam GE, you missed Aswati.
Oh no, I missed you. Oh, Brahm. How could I miss you? Sorry, Manju. Let's do it out of that order anyhow. So Manju, could you please go ahead and evaluate Banasri, and I shall come back to Sir Brahm.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Now that's what we would call a short-lived relief, because I thought I have more time, but then again back on the stage. Well, Banishri's speech, do you remember how she started her speech? I loved the way she started her speech, because that showed that she has put some thought into structuring her speech. The opening part, she asked a question: have you ever felt lost? So I think the audience was glued from that part itself. And then if you see the other part of the speech, right, that is conclusion, again, she ended with a question. The structure of the speech was really good. You have a question at the beginning, then your speech, and then a question at the end. The second part I liked about the speech was her storytelling ability, especially her ability to bring in humor, add a vein of humor where she said, do you think they were angels or gods and all that, and how she remains fit because she's always running around behind those live wires. I really love the way she was almost laughing out loud and made us also chuckle. The third thing that I liked about her speech was the language. I would say for me, that was the apotheosis of the speech when I heard a mix of triad and alliteration. You have food, festivals, and fun, where she falls in love with her husband, food, festivals, and fun. When I heard it, I had the feeling of, oh, this is called apotheosis, the highest point of power or glory. So that was really good. And I could see that throughout the speech. Now, any good speech can be made better. So for this, I have a couple of suggestions. Number one, I'm still not clear why you had the speech title as The Compass. So this is a very pertinent point. The reason being your speech starts with the question, the compass is what will help you when you get lost and all. And then you say during the speech, you say, when I took this subject in college, I moved further away from the compass. But then, when you were finding the love of your life, having the angels of God and all those stuff, I was not sure whether you are further away or that. I was not clear. Then you said, I can. So there again, you were having this. So at the end, you just said, okay, what is your passion? But it did not end with compass. So I was a bit lost there. I think I missed that compass myself. I needed the compass. Or maybe if you could think of a better speech title for your speech, that might have been good. The second aspect I felt was I felt it was a bit retrofitted. Probably you had compass in mind and then you tried to push this whole beautiful speech into that frame of compass. So I would like to you to look at that, whether it was a retrofitted thing. Okay, so these are the only two suggestions I have. Overall, a wonderful icebreaker with a great call to action, made us think, great storytelling, vein of humor, and language. Loved it. Thank you so much, Manishri.
Thank you.
Now there I see a beautiful evaluation with a beautiful speaker, and everybody's got smiles. That's probably the biggest thing I miss here. Everybody's being so busy being professional, you forget to just have some smiles and fun on your face at the same time. Manju, that was a beautiful evaluation. I think you nailed it right on. You had all of the uplifting. You appreciated the beauty of the speech, and the improvements were right on. So there's a flow that needs to come in. Beautifully done. And I loved that you were having fun doing it, and Banasri was having fun receiving it. Thank you so much. Our next evaluator is Sir Brahm. I missed him. He was missed. Brahm is evaluating Aswati. And he says that evaluation mastery is a necessary skill for leaders who model and exemplify integrity. Certainly Brahm leads us by leading in that area. Brahm, could you please evaluate Aswati Rajan?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, and especially Aswati Rajan. You took us through a journey about mentorship and what mentorship really means. I loved the way you put together your content. You began with your early days of when you first realized what mentors are, and then took us through a journey of your life to the present moment, and also leave us with a possibility of what could be possible in the future. Where I will put content. The content all dealt with your very first mentor as you were going through college and university, and her name, I believe, was Dr. Rupmati, and how she encouraged you along the way, every step of the way, to get to where you really wanted to be. And then, of course, came this the Prince Charming and so on, and the support and for job hunting, the entrepreneur, and then you, how could you miss Manju Manohar over there? And you didn't have to mention me, but you did as well. So, oh, my goodness, wow, that's great. And then you went on to say anyone can be a mentor, right? And you concluded with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now that was memorable because I will never forget the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I never thought that the Seven Dwarfs were mentors to Snow White, but they were. So, you know, I don't know if I can find the Seven Dwarfs in amongst our audience here, but I will certainly make sure that I have mentors. Now, here's the thing, Aswati, about your speech here. You know, you took us through a journey, took us through what mentorship is, and ended up with a possibility of what's possible in mentoring. Now, this is leadership speak. We need to speak a little bit differently about mentorship, and this speech you could have done in a community club, and that's fine, you know, and wonderful and all that stuff. But I want to know, as a leader, why do I have to have a mentor? What does it do to my leadership skills? Where can I become a better leader? Do leaders have mentors? And C-suite CEOs and vice presidents of big organizations, do they have mentors? And why do they have mentors? I would have liked to hear a bit about that. And of course, your own experience, because that's what you're supposed to talk. But being a Leadership Speak Advanced Club based on leadership development, you have to begin to incorporate that in. Actually, I would encourage all speakers to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're making a community club speech, and so it leaves us nowhere as to why we are here today. So that's number one. Number two is you had a great Zoom presence and good presence, and the lighting was good. However, I would really like this, because you're going to speak in front of 5,000 people on July the 23rd, to take it to the next level of apotheosis of your speech in terms of how you pose, how you look into the camera, or effect. And then raise your voice, lower your voice, whatever you need to do to bring forth the emotion of the audience, no matter if it's a dry subject like mentoring. You could spice it up a bit there. And that's what I would like to see, because this is leadership speak, the next level of speaking, the next level of who am I going to be, an experiment with that. Because there's a little bit of nervousness in there that you really need to overcome. It shows for an experienced person like me, it shows there's the nervousness is driving you, and you need to sort of put it into formation, like butterflies in a formation, to be able to get to that next level. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Brahm. I get to evaluate Sir Brahm. Oh, on evaluations. I was watching the timing. And Brahm, what you did was you took the first almost to the green, regurgitating the speech. We heard the speech. We didn't need the whole thing regurgitated. Now, just as it was turning green, you went into and point one. This was the juice. This was the juice. When you're coming into that point one, yes, have a couple of things of what they did wonderfully, but we grow with the evaluation, which is where the improvements are. So rather than taking your first 2 minutes, almost moving into education and regurgitating, I would say, get to the evaluation. That's the job at task at hand. Now, once you got to the point one, as it was turning yellow, I thought, oh, here we go. You really moved into some really good stuff. Then you slipped into educating the club and saying what we're about again. That's not the place, in my opinion, within the evaluation. It takes too much time. This is for the speaker. Then you moved into the second point. We never got to the 3 points because it turned red. And you still wanted to go into, here we're going to go and she's going to speak at this, advertising the event coming up. I think there's got to be a blend of staying on task. When you're evaluating, that's for the speaker. Evaluate like this. Here's your points, and you had some great points for her. But I didn't like it being rushed in at the end, mixed in with education. So there's a lovely way to blend it. But thank you so much. You always have so much wisdom to share with the club, and you certainly did that today. Thank you, Bram. Now, we did Manju. Magic little mix there. Fabiola is next. Fabiola Cleofa is evaluating Asif. And indeed, ours is the only organization that brings the best out of you, says Fabiola. And this is done through effective evaluations. This has shaped me to be a district leader, and I'm happy when a member thanks me for what they learned from me when I was leading the district. And you always know that's when you've nailed it and come home. Somebody comes back and says, that changed me. We have Fabiola. Could you please evaluate Asif?
Yes, indeed. I would love that. Was this an inspirational? I did find a lot of nuggets out of this. Was it motivational? Also. And yes, working with Toastmaster Asif in the background as one of the members of the education committee, I can see that. And it really brings this to the part that he is working on, which is motivational strategy. Besides the inspiration that came out of this speech, I also focused on what the project is all about. If it is engaging, right to the start, he managed to give us as audience a question. And not only that, he gave us instruction how we can engage with him. Now, even though that was very good, one thing that could have been better was, after giving us the instruction, repeat how we can engage with the 4 possible answers. That would have helped more members to put down the answer in the chat so you can see more of the engagement. Another example would have been also to call on people. Oh yes, I see Sandra, you're thinking. What about Bram? Yes, I know. Just put it in the chat. So that would also engage more of engagement of the audience. But also that was one of the moments that you instructed the audience to engage with you. That same technique of calling on people, even though you don't need them to write something, but by just calling on their name, you engage them. What I really loved is your voice with all the modulation and the intonation. You draw us in, and I was glued to you. So that also is part of engaging me as an audience to you and to what you are saying. At the end of your speech, more or less, you were relaxed and in a very conversational way. You even told us, you know what I mean. And that was very relaxing. compared to how you started with your hands crossed, it was really like, you know, standoffish. But if you can incorporate that more, it will make your audience also to go with you. Your content was appropriate because it was timely, and the message that you lead with gratitude, that nailed it. So I would encourage you to continue with these great speeches by using your voice, by engaging with some of the techniques that I mentioned, and also choosing your topic that really connects with your audience. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Fabiola. Once again, a very positive. I love the inviting smile. I really do, because this allows us to absorb whatever is going to come down to whack us alongside. Yeah, you were great at this and this and this, but yeah, okay there. So I just find it very attractive to bring people in by our more relaxed, real, everyday person that we are. You certainly got right into what he did well, and you had a lot of wonderful improvements there for him to think about. We like to call them about, try this. You might want to try this. I really liked how you dug down in, and I do believe that Asif knows that you want to hear more. It was very encouraging. We want to hear more. Keep going, because you've got this stuff. And here's how you can get it. So thank you very much, Fabiola. All right, I think we need the timer to give us the times for the evaluations, please. And we'll vote on the evaluations, and then we'll move into the rest of the meeting evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Today is really very inspiring and motivational for me to be a timer. The evaluation of the leadership speech took 3 minutes, 33 seconds. And after that, the speaker one evaluation took 3 minutes, 16 seconds. The speaker two, the evaluate two took 3 minutes, 38 seconds. And speaker three, the last speaker, the evaluation speaker, took 3 minutes, 29 seconds. And now it is 10 and 18 minutes. That it means that our program is within the time. Over to Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. And I see that the poll was very promptly put up there. I hope everyone got completed putting your response in. While we're waiting for the results of that, maybe I saw it. I'm messed up on that. I'm just going to comment on the timer before we move on. Azim, thank you so much for taking on the job of timer. I think there was a bit of a disconnect in preparation between you and the Toastmaster of the day, really getting things sorted out clearly. I would go in behind on that. What I really loved was the budget. I thought, oh, bingo, I like that. Yeah, time is money. How much better can you get to go in with the whole model of the leaders than to say time is money? And we have a budget of time. I loved it. I'm going to be keeping that one. And so you reported back as budgets of time. The confusion with the timing, you forgot to put your hand up, and I know I saw that, and I said, raise the hand to pin it up, and eventually it got raised. But I think there was just some work to be done between you and the Toastmaster of the day to really get that all smoothed out. But I thank you for your work today. It was beautifully done. I hope you accept it again fairly soon, because I think if you were to do it again soon rather than a time lapse, you would have a chance to get your hand around that timing message. Thank you. The best evaluator poll was up there. Can you just pop it back up again? It was popped up during the time with our timer. Here we go, best evaluator. Oh my goodness, they're very close. 40% Manju, and next was Rosie. Very close. Thank you, everyone. Excellent evaluations. Oops, I thought I had to close it. I would like to call on the grammarian now for your grammarian report.
Thank you.
Ashwini, sorry, I was thinking, oh no, I don't have the name. Who was it? Ashwini. Thank you.
Thank you. Attending meeting at Leadership Speak is an hypothesis for budding Toastmaster like me. That's how I want to start. As we continue our meeting tonight, we have heard a lot of speakers, most of our speakers, evaluators who have embellished their speeches with clarity, precision, and effectiveness. And that effectiveness have come through with few good usage of thoughts, sentences, and that has inspired me. So to start with, Apotheosis was used by DTM Sudarshan, DTM Manju, DTM Bram, and DTM Rosie. Good usage of words. I mean, good sentences which I have heard and which I've made a note of, which inspired me a lot as well. So we are what sound of our words are. Envisage and envision, which was part of a leadership attribute. I love the VOICE acronym, which states value, outcome, integrity, courage, and evidence. Consistent, concurrent, and cogent was something which came out very effectively, which spoke about walk the talk. The very important usage of saying leader is a state of mind, which is very important, which we fail to actually follow that. Certain good usage of sentences done by Ashwati Rajan, ignore bricks and bags, heal your strength, and the last concluding line, which actually stole my heart. Snow White had 7 dwarfs as mentors. Why not me? So lovely sentence. I think Banashri also came up with beautiful usage of words. Finding the inner compass, cliffs and rapids of life, which spoke about ups and falls of life, which was very interesting. Goal and goalpost change, which means that I had something in my mind, but my goalpost changed. So that was very inspiring. 10 hours of stressful job to a 20 hours of stretched job, which actually I could relate with my son and my family over here. Live hours of my life, which actually connected to our kids who made our life so beautiful. I think Tony, when was speaking in the table topic speech, he spoke about integrity is a part of leader repertoire. I've been so inspiring. I'm going to put this as taglines on my desk, and this will inspire me every time when I'm playing a role of a leader in my organization. I think, yeah. I like this words, which was replaced by key takeaways by key nuggets, which was said by DTM Rosie. DTM Manju also mentioned add a vein of humor. So, when we say we add a flavor of humor, you replaced with vein of humor. So that, embellished the evaluation, what you did for your speech, for your speaker. Retrofitted is a very interesting word, which I loved personally, because it talks about how you try to bring two things together and, you could create your speech. And yes, that's how I conclude my grammarian report. So excellent usage of words. I couldn't find any mistake in the overall grammar usage. So that's my report. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Ashwini. I love your energy. You presented it right away. You might want to just slow down. You did a lot of fast talk in there. So I was listening. I often say, when they get into rap, I can't listen that fast. So just watch your speed, your pace, so that we have a chance to enjoy. I'm just going to skip back to the timer because I'm not sure that the timer was timing you. It felt like it was a longer time slot, but I'm not sure. I'll leave that one alone. But thank you so much for your enthusiasm, because enthusiasm is what raises the energy for the whole room. Thank you, Ashwini. Now I have the wonderful chance to evaluate the Toastmaster of the Day. And I know what a challenge that is, because here at Leadership Speak, I was Toastmaster of the Day last week, and that brings me around to being the general evaluator this week. That's the way the game goes. And it's a very smart game, actually, because having gone through the preparation and then having a chance to speak to it leaves me primed. And Kenneth, have you got your broad shoulders on today? You're wanting the straight goods from the straight talker? Yes? You're muted. Just, I think it's a good time to have a bit of a conversational approach to it as well. Kenneth, you have got this wonderful manner, this wonderful personification. You just make me smile when I see you. It's like you have this gentle smile that's just part of who you are, even when you're not smiling. So your face smiles. But I would invite you to actually just enjoy it too. I know you're so proud of your club, and rightly so, and happy to be participating. But I think the whole thing is just be yourself and enjoy. Because I have a funny feeling if you were out at a rapping time, you would be right in there and having some fun. So loosen up a little bit and enjoy yourself. You know you're the leader. So it's about claiming yourself in your leadership. And when it's time to have a smile, just put a big grin on your face. Because on person to person, what we have is our voice and our physical gestures in order to energize people. And on Zoom, it's even more important to get energized and to raise the energy. That to me is the Toastmasters, one of the big jobs. That's why I would invite you, as you're finishing up with anybody, you know, as the red comes on, get yourself unmuted. So that as soon as they're finished, you can do that physical clapping. I don't know if you noticed, but I did that all the way through my part of the job. And I hope that hearing the clapping actually made a difference. And that's part of keeping the energy up. So you can do that. Get off, unmute yourself as the red's coming on, as they're finishing up, and right in so that you can be raising the energy of the crowd. The introductions, I think introductions are really critical. And you did a beautiful segue in between from one person to the next. And I was listening to see, oh, are you going to get carried off and go down a rabbit hole? Sometimes we want to go too far into either educating or telling our own story or speaking to the speech. And that's not the job of the MC again. And you didn't do that. You just had these lovely, lovely segues from one person to the next. So really, kudos for that. You needed to ask the timer to raise and pin their hand, and that could have been in the cleanup, you know, right at the beginning. You did address it, and I was late getting in because I was shoveling my snow, so that's not a good excuse. But I was off about what was going to happen since we recognized that Nikita wasn't going to be here, and I didn't know what that change was. So Mariana helped me out behind the scenes. And then she showed up with these table topics. And so there were some surprises that you could have said, okay, we're going to do table topics instead of Nikita, even when you were doing that introduction. And so we're going to have the timer. So this is where you could actually do it. We're going to ask the timer just to pop in even verbally for Mariana when it's 12 minutes, 14 minutes, and last question, to bring it to 15, because there's a place where you can save your time and know you're going to be safe. Okay. Then the timer would still go ahead and time the table topics. Now, the timer didn't know that we really didn't know about the table topic time, since it was kind of thrown in and there wasn't going to be a poll. So all of that confusion was kind of last minute, but it speaks to, are you able to pull things together? Now I messed up. And Brahm jumped in and said, you kind of missed me, but I'd already introduced Manju. So I had to say, oh, yes, I did. But I've got Manju set up, so we're going to carry on and I'll come back to Brahm. So that's part of what I find is owning what your job is, rather than getting all in the fluff. Okay, go away, Manju, I'm going to bring Brahm in. Okay, let's do that. And then I would have to do it over again. So I didn't want that confusion. Whatever mess we clean up, but we have, just clean it up and carry on. But we don't have to go back and clean it up. Just rearrange it, make the statement and carry on. So lots of great things happening here. I find here, and this is more or less at leadership speak, when the evaluator gives the objectives, to me, that's a jumping around, and then they're not clear. So again, this, if you're going to do that, then you need to be clear. You're not doing the introduction. It's back to the Toastmaster to do the actual introduction. However, we don't get a lot of introductions here. It feels like we're doing a contest. So it's Brahm speaking, master your time, Brahm. That seems to be what we get for introductions. It doesn't set us up. So my little pet peeve is getting introductions going, but that's something where the Toastmaster of the day can encourage them. Give me an introduction about your speech. Why are we going to listen to you? What is it going to be about, and so on. So we can encourage. But with that, I have to say you did a marvelous, thorough job. It's a big job to be Toastmaster of the day, and it's a wonderful place to stretch. Thank you for allowing me to do the evaluation. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra Vowles. At this moment, I know we have enjoyed and learned, and everyone is going to incorporate the learnings from this meeting into your day-to-day activities. I would love to echo again that to model the way, leaders go first and lead by example. They don't ask others to do what they are not ready to do. I encourage you to create standards of excellence and set an example for others to follow, just like leadership speak. Leadership speak models the way to exemplify what they stand for in the pursuit of their extraordinariness as self-directed leader. Through inspiring others, time management, connecting with others, and working as a team. Why not model the way? When leaders are doing their best, they model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and encourage their heart. Who you are is always a more virtual teaching and a more powerful transformer of the world than what you say, and more essential even what you do. It has been an honor and a pleasure to serve as the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you so much to all the role players, and back to Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenneth, for being the Toastmaster of the day. As Sandra has pointed out appropriately, it is not that easy to be the Toastmaster of the day at an advanced club, because there's a lot of preparation that happens beforehand. For those of you who don't know, Kenneth Kajjora is our youngest member. I believe he's the youngest member in the club. He's all the way from Uganda at Lubova Toastmasters Club. And when I went to visit Lubova, I was very impressed with what he does there. And so we had invited him to be a member here. Kenneth, thank you so much for being the Toastmaster of the day. You've done a great job. We look forward to your time when you become the GE in the week after. Which brings me to what is happening next week in that case. Why not next week? Well, next week we are celebrating the International Women's Day. And Nurul Munawara, distinguished Toastmaster Nurul Munawara, is going to be the Toastmaster of the day. Rosie Rana is going to do the education session. Every spot on the agenda is being filled by women leaders from the club. And so please, Saturday, March 11th, 8:30 a.m., we will be here. Now, the time is 10:36, which is exactly my time, which is exactly the time on the agenda when we finish. So I will adjourn the meeting now. This meeting is adjourned. We can stop the recording.